know I'm out of work, but I'm kind of open to the idea of OnlyFans.
In your case, it would be OnlyFans.
This is Then You Ruined It, the podcast that will last until one of us makes it weird. Hope you have a short commute.
So I had one of those nights that you just remember. You think you're going to remember probably for the rest of your life. And I'll admit, yes, I'd completely forgotten about this night before you looked at the notes and said, hey, you want to talk about that thing you wrote down? I don't know what's it about. I forgot. And you mentioned it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how did I forget that?
This life-changing event that I could never forget. See, this is why everyone needs a podcast, so that they can remember things.
A, no, not everybody needs a podcast. B, it's definitely not to remember things. That's what your notes app is for.
No, see, I've told my kids that I don't have a journal. I don't have a family Bible or anything like that. If they want to know what their father was like after I'm gone, find the archives of this show and listen. My great-great-grandchildren will know about the day.
I want you to know that after watching Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I so wanted to have either a replica of his father's journal with all the notes in it and the maps and everything, or I wanted to create one of my own. Like, I wanted that to be like mine. I don't know what the hell I would do. I would create a map of my corner of Kansas or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I wanted that so bad. So you saying that makes me think, I mean, that's so sad because I picture Sean Connery going to, like, you know, jump over tiles and make his way to the Holy Grail, and he's listening with one earbud in. Like, why does he keep mentioning his sphincter? What does that have to do with this puzzle? Oh! And he falls down the pit and he dies because he's just listening to our podcast where he's trying to decipher what the hell you're talking about.
But in one of those episodes, I talked about how Jehovah starts with an I.
You didn't?
This episode. Hey, great-great-grandchildren, if you need to jump across the tiles and spell Jehovah, it starts with an I.
In the Latin, no, not in the Latin. What was it? In the Greek?
Aramaic, probably? I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, something like that. I can't. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but it made a big impression on me. Just like the night that I'm about to talk about.
All these things that are an unforgettable part of the Jason Sigler experience that I need to remind him of on a regular basis. You used to wear a toe ring, sir.
Nobody needs to remind me of that. That is the ones that are shameful that everybody knows about. No, they're happy to remind me. I still have a set of toe rings that, yes, I think, well, you know, one day my daughter can use them as like actual rings, and my wife looks at me like, don't put that on her. Do not give her your weird ass toe rings to wear as like actual rings and think the entire time, yep, that used to be around my toe in college.
Honey, I've already decided what I'm leaving to the kids. Our daughter gets my toe rings, and my son gets that little bit of foreskin that I zipped off in my pants that one time.
Nothing was removed. Nothing was lost. Nothing was gained, but nothing was lost. Okay, I'm getting to my story now because it's kind of quite a wind up, and well, it's not really a wind up. It's quite the night. I had quite the night.
I'll be good, I promise.
So earlier that day, I had gone to the bathroom, and like I imagine most people, I think, but even men, I sometimes wipe a bit much. And so with the next wiping, or maybe the current wiping, whatever it might be, you might find just a little bit of red and think, oh, okay, it's too dry. Or as I say, as I'm scratching my belly, like I'm literally scratching my belly as I'm saying this. I gotta stop that. I'm gonna bleed again. Saying it's too dry and I'm wiping too hard. Okay, I gotta ease up. And I'll admit, I have been known to apply ointments and or balms, Aquaphor, whatever you got, to aid in the healing process. So this happens. I'm okay with that. This time I went to the bathroom. There was more than that. There was a fair amount of red, and like red, and like came out. And I had to tell my wife immediately, like, I just had blood in my stool, and I feel fine. Like nothing's wrong with me that I feel like, but that worries me.
I feel fine, but my anus is bleeding. That should not go together.
But my biggest worry, as it should be, is not my anus is bleeding. Something inside me is bleeding. So that's why, I looked it up, and she also told me, pay attention to the next one and see, what's happening. And so I said, okay, yeah, I will. And also, see if I'm feeling different. And I didn't. I felt fine the rest of the day. And so that night, my sister-in-law and her husband took the kids. And so we're like, okay, we got the rest of the night. We can do whatever we want. We can get dinner. We can watch a movie. The night is ours. So I, of course, go to the bathroom before we head out to whatever the thing we were going to do. And again, noted, way too much red. Like, even more. Like, okay. Now, okay. I'm going to stop everybody listening. Not Steve. Everybody else listening. You think he might be an asshole right now, laughing at my pain. I told him before we started recording, this all ends up okay. You can laugh. So that's why he's laughing his ass off right now. I don't think he would be. I hope he would not be if he didn't know the outcome was one that's like, okay, I think everything's fine.
Thank you for giving me that much credit. I don't know that I deserve it.
I don't either. But it's a new year, new you, and I'm gonna take this down a different road before we end up going down the same road we always go down.
2025.
Give you a little credit.
The year Steve stopped laughing at people's bloody anuses.
Yes, that's what it'll be known as forever and always. So I told her, and she's like, okay, so what do you want to do? I'm like, I feel fine, but that's a lot. And I don't want to like let it go like I do everything else and have it be like something super serious that I should have gotten looked at. She's like, do you want to go to the hospital? And I'm like, I mean, no, but also yes. And okay, well, then what can we do? Okay, well, let's look it up and see what we both find out. And okay, yeah, okay. Well, there's also the aspect of, as I've told recently on this podcast, I need to play doctor, and not in the fun way. So she got up close and personal and checked to see, what the situation was, if she sees anything obviously wrong that is like, oh yeah, I said, like, you pull it in the mechanic and the mechanic says, I can tell you exactly what the problem is. Like, that's what I was hoping for.
Is this the original checkup, or have you done this to her twice in the span of 2 months?
This has to be another checkup because this one is, like I said, far bigger and more traumatic. So,
okay. All right.
No, this definitely would have been a different story. So no, this is, she knew what this was.
Okay. So that's the question then. Is she better at it now? Did she do a better job?
Again, it was not her fault the last time. It was a confluence of incidents that led to.
But now she knows if she touches that button a certain way, a certain thing is going to happen, and then the day is ruined for both of you.
I mean, yes, and so no, she did not.
Yes. Okay. Good. So now you can give her a better review on Yelp.
And boy, did I Yelp. Hey-o. Thank you. You teed that one up perfectly. So she looks and says, like, okay, I see something that could be an issue or part of the issue or the issue, but I can't tell you for sure because I'm not a doctor. Okay, well, what are we doing then? Well, let's look up. Okay, they have whatever it's called. Well, Preparation H. Do we have any in the house? That could help. Okay, well, let me look. No, I think we threw that out before we moved. It was old and we didn't need it anymore, so we threw it away. Okay, well then, let's see what we can find around the area that not my area, the area around our house. I know what I have around my area. It's not helping. At this point, at least. So we go to Target, and I am, again, not in pain, just like worried and nervous, but we're going there to get a product that could help. And that product is one that is intended to be inserted anally.
Whoa! This story just got fun again.
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
So it's a suppository. Wait, what?
It's a Preparation H suppository.
That sounds dangerous.
Wet and wild, as Kramer would say.
Oh, I thought that was the tagline. Like, you have double stuffed Oreos, Scope Ultra, Preparation H, Wet and Wild. Doesn't Preparation H like drain all the moisture and just kind of like pucker it up? Isn't that what Preparation H does?
I think kind of, in my experience, which has been very little. We owned it, and like I said, we threw it out because we didn't use it hardly at all. I needed it for like one time, and it did the job, and so I didn't need to use it anymore. So what I used this time certainly did not make anything dry and or puckered up. It Okay, so let's okay. So we get the product at Target, and
The product.
well, yeah. And so my wife is buying that along with some other things, and it's one of those, you're going to get a price check on it because whenever you buy that or condoms or something else incredibly embarrassing, they just need a price check on it. And sure enough, while I walked off to like put up the cart or something like that, I came back and my wife was like laughing, and I'm just like, "What's so funny?" And she's like, "You're not going to believe it, but they had to do a price check on it because they couldn't." I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I don't know how, but you left for 30 seconds and your butthole just made us $10. And I said, "Excuse me?"
Yeah. What?
And she said, "I'll tell you when we get to the car." And I was like, "Please do."
The manager said if I had a picture, he'd pay me $50, and this was a $40 thing. So
I know I'm out of work, but I'm kind of open to the idea of OnlyFans.
in your case, it would be only fan.
Yes. And even then, not really fan, just kind of, heard about.
Just your mom occasionally Venmos you $20.
Just checking up to make sure it's doing okay, hon. Yeah, Mom, it's fine. So we get to the car, and she tells me that apparently Target had a deal at the time if you like got certain amount, like $30, I think, which she got other things. $30 of health and beauty products, then you got $10 back.
And this counts double because anything you jam up your butthole is for health and beauty.
I mean, there was nothing beautiful about this situation. I'll say that. That's definitely not what I would categorize this as. So we return home, and I know I need to go do this like immediately to see, what happens and if we're okay or if we need to go to the doctor or hospital or whatever. So I go in the bathroom, I close the door, and I'm like hollering everything at my wife through the door. And I'm racking my brain now to remember exactly the conversation because it's one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had in my life.
Why isn't she in there with you? If you're going to talk to her, she should be there holding your hand.
Because it's a small bathroom. This is the small bathroom I had to help her when she had her recent heart episode take showers by like washing her at the sink, which is not a possibility in this bathroom. And we found that out the hard way by like getting water all over the walls and everything. Those were comical situations that, again, ended up okay for now. So we're, happy to laugh at it. But man, at the time, it was like, this is all going terribly. My situation was much more funny. So we both just laughed. So I get in there. I have the thing with me. I don't even know how to take it out of the package. So I'm right from the bat just screaming through the door at her. Just like, how do you open this? It's like she's like, well, peel it down like a banana. And I'm like, well, I don't want to think about that. Considering where this thing's going, I don't want to think banana, but okay.
How do you open this thing? Well, I usually just grab each cheek and spread.
That's what she should have said, but no, she did not. She knew I was very stressed out at this point. And I did not want to do this, so I think she took it easy on me. The thing itself did not, as you'll soon find out. So I peeled that out, and man, bananas are revealed as you peel them like that. This thing literally like rose, was like, oh, and I was like, oh man, I don't want that at all. It was like a wax bullet is what it looked like. And I'm just like holding it and like, well, I know where that's going. And then because of what it's like coated in, which, is intended to help insertion, I dropped it immediately. I'm like, oh crap.
No, it's covered in pubes.
Yeah, it was not pubes, but it was definitely fuzz and everything. And I'm like,
your bathroom is better than mine then.
I mean, again, it's a small like half bath that we use for like all the guests downstairs. So yes, we keep it cleaner. So I'm like hollering. I was like, oh, gross. And she's like, what? Did you try it? And I'm like, no, I dropped it. Now it's on the floor and it's covered in fuzz. And can I still use this one? She's like, I mean, can you clean it off? Do you want me to look? And I'm like, no, I don't. Let me get it cleaned up. So I'm like, like blowing on it, trying to get the fuzz off, and it's just sticking to it. I'm like, okay, that's clean. I wouldn't eat this if I found it on my floor, but I'll insert it rectally.
Oh yeah. That's a good question. Like, what's the rectal 10-second rule?
I mean,
because we have an oral 10-second rule, but
I don't know anything about how if it's inserted back in, if it like goes back through your body, or if it's immediately wants to get back out. But I would imagine most things can probably go because they'll just come right back out. But I I don't know
You didn't
for
look
sure.
this up?
Well, I mean, again, playing fast and loose with the rules here. I was trying to get this done. I didn't like what I had to do, so I pick it up. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good enough. All right, get ready to do the deed. And again, like checking with my wife, just like with my eyes, I have a hard time like touching my own eyes. That's why I can't wear contacts. So I'm like touching the area and just like, I don't know if I could do this. Like this doesn't. It's like, do you want me to do it? I'm like, no, that's weirder. I gotta do this somehow. So again, I'm like touching and like, okay, this can't be clean, but that's not my biggest concern right now. Okay. I think I found it. I think I found where it needs to go. She's like, are you kidding me?
You've been in there for 45 minutes and you barely found your butthole? What's wrong with you?
That's what it amounts to, yeah.
We're never going to make it to the movie at this rate.
Oh, there was no movie. Yeah, the movie was going to be inside after we'd gotten dinner from another place out. So yeah, that was never. I didn't ruin the evening in that way. So I find it and I'm like, okay, I think that this. I'm just gonna try. All right, I'm gonna take it and here we go and go in and. Yep. Okay. That's the. All right. I think it's. Yep. Okay. It's in. It went in. She's like, okay. Did it like feel like it went? I was like, it like accepted it. I was like, I got it part of the way in, and then my body took over and just said, we know what to do with this. Thank you. We'll make this easier from here. We got it. So it did that, and I stood there extremely still for several seconds, like trying to make sure like it wouldn't like sneak back out. And okay, stand up. All right, I'm standing. All right, are your pants back on? Not yet. I'm waiting to see. So okay, I'm gonna come back out. So I pull my pants up and come back out, and she says, and I'm like, I mean, it's in. I don't know what it's doing, but it's in.
It's mint flavored somehow, which is disconcerting, but it's in.
Yeah, it tastes kind of weird. Wrong way. So she's like, can you sit down? Do you want to like watch a show or whatever? I'm like,
Well,
I mean,
okay,
yeah,
so
we can try.
What were the directions? Like, are you supposed to leave it in?
I mean, yeah.
You
insert.
Okay, that's like, was it insert and then just live with it and it eventually dissolves, or like it has to come out?
Yeah. So she knew this at least. She knew this much, that it's coated with a thing to like insert, and then everything else around it is not the medicine itself. That dissolves, and like it's just to get it inserted, so it's a certain shape, and then the medicine dissolves once it's inside you, and yeah, it eventually goes away. So yeah, and I am Jason Sigler, known farter. So as soon as I put it in, like the first thing you want to do is expel. Like it's just what your body naturally wants to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I really need to fart, but I probably shouldn't, should I? And she's like, no, you don't want to go shooting out. Don't do that.
Not on our couch. Get back in the tiny bathroom. Come on.
We weren't on the couch yet, but I didn't want to after I struggled to get it in the first place. I didn't want to have that issue, so I didn't. I restrained myself, and it stayed and dissolved, and I assumed did the job. And was it later that night? I think it was later that night. I put in another one because it said you can use like 4 a day, and I'm like, okay, well, at least do like 2 today to see, how much more medicine I can get in my body and hopefully fix whatever this issue is. And this one, I'm an old pro. I can do this. I know where my butthole is now. So I go in there, get ready, do the deed, put it in, stand up, maybe a little too quickly, and I can feel it start coming back out. I was like, no.
Reverse course.
Yeah, it's like it's doing what it should do, but I don't want it to do that. So I'm like hovering over the toilet, waiting for it to drop. It's like when you're gonna throw up, and it's just like, okay, just happen. Come on, I know this is gonna happen. I can't do anything to stop it. And yes, I know there's something I can do to stop it, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to. So I had to do some finagling, and
is that what that word means?
He's been up in his room all day. What's he doing? I don't know. Finagling is the vajangle.
Just finagle, to hold your finger right below your butthole and push back anything that comes out. Finagling.
Not something I've ever had to do in my entire life. Thank you very much. So
Now, when you do, you have the word for it.
I do. So that I was able to get it reinserted, and it did the job and did the medicine, and I'm happy to report the next day, no more issues, and I have not seen any since. I am ready. I stand at the ready to fight this good fight again if needed, but I am very glad that I don't have to currently, and there you have it. One of the weirdest nights of my life. Where my butthole made $10.
Your butthole is officially the most profitable part of your body in this current calendar year.
Thinking, yeah, you're probably right.
Your butthole's looking around like, y'all gotta start pulling your weight here. I'm doing all the heavy lifting. He won't stop finagling me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Then You Ruined It. If you enjoy our flavor of nonsense, please like and subscribe wherever you found us. And please share with your friends and cooler family members.